And we are in. Hello, everybody. We are going live for a reaction with our roving reporter who's been at the game. He made it to the game. He made it to the game in the end, and I think he's wishing he never, because there were things to say, and the best thing to say them sometimes is straight after the game. So the way we're going to do this, because it's late, everyone needs to
I've
get
still got to
home.
drive.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got to drive back from Edmonton.
What we're going to do is we're just basically going to say for 5 minutes each what we think about it.
Yeah.
Uninterrupted, undebated, everything. And then we're going to pick the bones out of it tomorrow in the main pod. So I shall, as you were at the scene of whatever that was, I have the floor to you.
Well, as Chris was explaining, I had an absolute nightmare getting to the game today. Got stuck on the M40 for what felt like hours. I went, yeah. I mean, it felt like 3 hours. It might have been less. It might have been more. And then I get to my mum's house where I park, and then I get a train from Spring Road, only to find out that the train was cancelled and it's the last train before kick-off. So I had to get an Uber. I had a great Uber driver, so big respect to him. He sorted me out. He parked up outside McDonald's. Absolutely brilliant. Managed to get there with 10 minutes to spare. And it was shit. I don't think there was a point to today. Obviously, the last minute goal that wasn't a goal, from my point of view, I couldn't see it because again I was behind. I was literally right next to the away fans. I was literally right next to the partition, and most of my entertainment today came from our fans and their fans just giving each other banter. A guy tried to stand up and he slipped, and he was laughing it off. It was one of those things. He's like, I couldn't do anything about it. I just slipped. It is what it is. And I got to see the Blues dog. That's it really. I think, to be honest, there was no standout performer today. Osman looked brilliant in flashes. Solis, I thought, had a very poor game actually. And I'm going to openly admit something now, live on a stream. I was wrong about taking Iwata out of the team. I know Iwata, when he came on, didn't do much, but I'm going to be honest. Asai Samuel was pathetic, and I think that's being kind. I think, to be honest, no, he was getting bullied, like badly bullied by their winger, particularly in the first half, because obviously he was down our end, and every time the ball went near Bright, he was trying to get us forward. The problem is that when he was tracking back, he was just getting manhandled. He needs to get on the protein and just bulk up a little bit, because their winger had him on toast. And I mean, I'm not just going in on him because that's just one part from the first half. Neumann was appalling. Beadle, we've gone from, now you're going to hear this from me now. Beadle, I don't know what he was doing today. I was sat next to a couple of old boys and we were just having a bit of a laugh about it. And we've gone from having a goalkeeper who had the passing range of her prime Pirlo to, I don't even know what it was. Just, there was a point in the second half, and it was a bit about 70 to 80 minutes. I can't remember exactly when it was. It was late in the game, and the ball went back to him, and he booted it long, and he went straight through to their goalkeeper, and that summed everything up about his performance today. I thought Doyle was ineffective. Deutsch, right. I know I'm coming up to the end of my 5 minutes, but we're going to finish on Deutsch, right?
No. Your 5 minutes started about a minute and a half after you told us about your travel. So go for it. Go for it.
So I just everything I've said on this podcast is to do with Deutsch. He's a great footballer, a great finisher. He's a great finisher. That's brilliant. That's what we signed him for. We signed him to score goals. What we didn't sign him for was for him to decide that he's just going to take everything on the first touch, not trap the ball, And actually, he did it once in the game in the second half. He got the ball into feet. He passed the ball along the front line, and I think it was to Solis. Then Solis pinged it to Vicente, and instantly on the front foot. And I was just thinking, how has it taken him so long to realise that that's what he needs to do? Like it was, and then obviously the goal, last minute. Obviously, I'm next to the Baggies fans, so I'm giving it the beans. I'm not even going to lie. And I just noticed that my periphery gone dark. My lights gone off. Lights are on when no one's home. I think that's that's it. I think he just. Let me just get that light back on. There we are. It was just bad, and like I'm sitting next to the Albion fans, and they're saying stuff, and I'm like, I've got no interest in what they're saying, but they were making a lot of noise, as away ends always do. To be fair, like credit where credit's due. But like I was so deflated that it was just kind of noise next to me. It was like, I think just again walking back, I just got the train from Bordsley to Spring Road, and everyone was just saying the same. Like everyone was just like, that was awful. I don't think there was anyone today that could say that we were good, because we weren't.
Yeah, I mean, tried obviously. We both know as well as anybody that you pick up different things by being at the game and different things by watching it on the TV. But everybody knows that, right? So I'm interested to know is, it kind of felt like the atmosphere started really high and just gradually kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping.
Yeah,
And I'm going to start now. I mean, I'll go into mine now, because it kind of felt like our performance was like that. It just, everything just got gradually sloppier and sloppier, from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and then so on and so on, until it got to the point where it was just a bit chaotic. And I mean, the first half, I've got any real major issues with the first half in a lot of ways. Okay, yeah, it wasn't great, but you kind of think to yourself, you've got an opportunity to fix this now. You've got 8 players on the bench because of Peck's injury. Fine, okay, you deal with it. But then you think to yourself, well, I've never been one for, let's give it 10 minutes and see what happens. I'm sorry, that's just a waste of time to me. When you've got players on the bench, right? Plus, modern football's changed now. We're not talking about 3 substitutions anymore. We're talking about 5, right? So you can put the hammer down at half time. I'm sorry, but there's Stansfield, Dux, Roberts. It feels like I'm picking on the same players, right? Get them off. They were fucking useless, right? And we're not talking about, he's had no service. Even when the ball did come into all 3 of them, it was just bouncing off and giving it away. They're just so ineffective. It's unbelievable. But we give them 10 minutes now. And that's not necessarily a criticism of Davies. That's a criticism of football. For me, I would if I would want to be that kind of manager, especially when I've got 8 players sat like that on the bench. I would want to be that kind of manager that when they walk in at halftime, I don't need to give them a bollocking. They're hooked. I'll hook 2 players at halftime. I'll hook them. And do you know what else as well? With the laws of substitutions, you have 3 windows to make substitutions in play. Making them at halftime doesn't count. It doesn't count at halftime. If you change at halftime, it doesn't take up one of your windows. So you wait 10 minutes. In fact, he didn't even wait 10 minutes, right? He called them at 51 minutes, right? They never went on to 56, but it took 5 minutes to get them on the pitch, because you know what they were doing? They were telling the players where they're defending. Right, listen, when Priska's going on, he knows it's going to be for one of the strikers. Why is he not prepared before the game to know what he's going to be doing off corners and free kicks? Why is Vicente, who is obviously going to come on for Roberts at some point, why is it taking him 3 minutes to be prepared for where he's on corners and free kicks? I'm sorry, it's just mind-blowing to me. We wasted 15 minutes of our own time in that game. And listen, right, Bright, he might not have had the best game, but that we were never ever in trouble down the side. What's a waste of a substitution to bring to change right backs there? He was never in trouble. We were never in trouble from the Albion in the second half. Why hook him? It makes no sense. It's him getting his favourite players back into the pitch again. That game was screaming for Kyogo to be on the pitch, right? But we left Duckshan, who even for his bad games, this was the worst by a mile. He was shocking. He was just so bad. Like every single flick and touch never come off. Every control just bounced off. Right? And I'm sitting there, I'm going, I can't believe this. And I haven't even got to the facts. I haven't even got to the facts that fucking who gives a shit if Robbie Williams is there? Couldn't give a fuck, mate.
Robbie Williams was there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they spent 2 minutes with Robbie Williams and Craig Gardner sitting there in the director's box. I'm just like, don't care. I do not care that fat dancer can take that. Is that our game? I'm more concerned about the fact that we're creating nothing. The substitutions were terrible. We wasted 2 windows of substitutions.
Yeah.
And to top it all off, you mentioned Beadle, but how is it, right? We all know I don't like him, but these are the reasons why, right? How is it that a goalkeeper hasn't had a save to make, but was still completely fucking useless throughout the game? Absolutely terrible. And he's not had a save to make, but he was awful. I mean, I'm just like, what the hell?
I mean, just sitting around speaking to people, obviously, they go to probably more games than I do, and just having a chat with them, it's like they want him to do well, and I want him to do well. But today, I think to be fair, like we had opportunities, we had 2 shots off the line, we had a disallowed goal, which you said was a legitimate one. It's a controversial decision.
There's 2 things that I'll come on to after that, which are a matter of fact more than anything else. But go on, yeah.
And it was just kind of like I don't know, like the whole expectation is. I think it's a missed opportunity, but realistically, apart from obviously, I mean Pake's injury, they said there was a handball in there. But again, it's one of them. It's a mix. It's a box thing. And
I will clear them too. I will clear the handball.
Well, I was right behind Pake's injury, and I heard like a yell. It might have been him. It might have been someone in the stand who was shouting forward or sit down. Yeah. So this is the other thing. We talked about the atmosphere a second ago. It drained us, and when I got in there, the place was bouncing, the Albion, everything like that, it was getting, they were giving it back, and it was really, really, it was a really good derby atmosphere. And then it just sort of, the football drained our souls. And that's the way I'm going to think of this game. And I know we'll cover it further when I've probably calmed down.
Just to clear up a couple of things. I mean, it is the last 2 points really that I'm going to say. It's that we'll talk about the disallowed goal first now.
Yeah.
But by the letter of laws, Dimmy was interfering with play because he was standing in front of the goalkeeper, but it wasn't so much that. What happened is when Priska flicked it, Dimmy tried to head it.
Yeah.
So straight away, he was offside. He was in an offside position and he tried to head it. So letter of the law. That's it. Like now, in the first half, and it kind of feeds me into my very last point before we go, and I let the theme just die down out my ears. So obviously Peck come in with the header. What happened was the defender was on the line. It hit the defender like in between his thighs and then went through his legs. Yeah. But he was falling back. So it was one of them. He had no idea where the ball was or anything else.
Yeah.
Yes, it hit his hand, but it wasn't handball. It was lesser of the law. It just wasn't a penalty. But it's just one of them. But
it's those fine margins, though.
It is. But my last point, I swear I will shut up now.
I've got to drive home. I've got 45 minutes ahead of me.
I watched, obviously, David. I'm always interested in the manager's interview after. Now,
Yeah.
Obviously, come out and give it the normal sort of like, things didn't really go our way, blah blah blah. And he said there's lots of positives to take out of this, and I thought,
Did you watch the same game?
is that something you're just saying now, or can you actually tell us a positive? Anyway, that wasn't really my main point of the interview. They talked about the disallowed goal, and he said, look, it's one of them. I've seen it once. He kind of brushed it off as if to say one of them things. But with the handball, and I swear to God, you can watch this back on Skylight on any.
Yeah, because obviously I was at the game.
He just said, and he just made this massive point of saying how magnificent Paik is for us and how key is to everything. And then went, well, it was handball anyway. But Johnny Phillips, who was doing the interview, went, well, the letter of the law says it wasn't because it come off his eyes. And he said, did you see it? And he said, I said it. He just went, it was handball. He made himself look stupid to me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the letter of the law is the letter of the law. So whether it's we're not talking about opinion, we're talking about the letter of the law. You can't go, it was a penalty, because it wasn't.
Sorry, I'm just having to switch my car engine back on so that I can see get the light back on, because it's obviously been on for so long. But I'm gonna head back to Leamington now. Once we finish this, so I can have a think on the way back about the podcast tomorrow. Follow us on all the streams.
I do feel a lot better now that I've shouted at this TV screen rather than the other TV screen, because obviously if you'd have seen me if you'd have come on half an hour ago, there'd have been a lot more.
When that goal went in, I was sat there after it went in, and I looked at my heart rate, and actually I put 109 on the group. It was actually 119, and I was sat there dejected. So I basically raised my heart rate for absolutely nothing.
Well, calm down. Have a bit more thinking. I think. I mean, there's definitely a big something to. My first thoughts about everything is now going into tomorrow is we've now got 4 fit strikers, yet we're picking 2 that are not in games at the moment. So what do we do about it? Who's our front 2? But anyway,
well, let's leave it at that. Onwards and upwards. On to the FA Cup on Sunday, and we'll do the podcast tomorrow.
Absolutely. Right, okay. Thank you for checking in if you did. And if not, this will go up as a pod anyhow. This will be the reaction. But I do feel a lot better now. Thank you.
All right. See you later, Chris.
Right. See you later.